Good afternoon, Uncle Bashir.
Good evening. Where I'm in. Good evening, live from Kiev in the Ukraine.
Oh, right, because it's the evening, isn't it? Yes, that's correct. It is the evening, to be fair. Yes, good evening. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. You know who I am. I'm with Uncle Bashir, and we're here at Bayloric TV talking about last night's Cruiserweight fight. And in particular, the reason why I'm talking to Uncle Bashir is because he has a Cruiserweight in the world rankings. Ranked number 2 in the world, Usyk, am I correct?
Number 1.
Well, he's number 1 now.
Yeah, he's Alexander Usyk.
Alexander Usyk, indeed.
Is the number 1 contender for the WBO championship.
He is now, after last night's shock defeat. What are your thoughts about what happened last night?
Pardon me?
What were your thoughts about last night's fight?
Well, as I've told you on numerous occasions, the Cruiserweight division is a very, very dangerous division. These guys, they can all punch. They can all punch. This guy, Golovkin, was behind in the fight. He was losing and came on strong in the 11th round and stopped the long-standing champion, Marco Huck. And he stopped him by knockout. Mostly all of the Cruiserweight fights that are happening, that you see happening in the last 15, 16 months, those fights are ending in KO. Very rarely do you see a fight in the Cruiserweight division go to the limit.
Okay, from round 1, I spotted or noticed that I think it's Christoph, his first name is.
Yeah, Christoph.
Christoph. Yes. That second name I can't pronounce. I'm getting my
Quack. Just quack. Everybody who is.
I don't want to get hit with that straight left hand, but Christoph Quack, or whatever his name is. Anyway, he from round 1 he shook Hook up with a straight left hand, and from that point, I was saying, look, if you can't get your hands up and you can't get out of the way of that straight left hand, you're going to get knocked out tonight. Because you get pulling straight back from punches, chin up in the air. Really technically very bad for a long-standing Cruiserweight champion with, 13 defenses.
Yeah, it seems as though he had no experience boxing southpaw fighters. And I believe Marco Huck has seen the who's who of the Cruiserweight southpaws in his career.
That was shocking.
It was very shocking.
I couldn't understand why him as a champion. I was thinking, okay, right, first 4 rounds, maybe he's trying to work the guy out. Maybe there's some sort of plan that he'll come on.
Yeah, but a lot of things could have been going on. He's preoccupied with trying to make the fight with Deontay Wilder. You never can tell what's the fighter's mind going into the ring. You never can tell. But again, he acted as though he was unfamiliar with a southpaw style, and he's seen southpaws before in his career. But yet still, he kept getting hit with the same left hand repeatedly, over and over and over again. And I was really alarmed that the trainer never made mention to Marco Huck in the corner that, hey, you're getting hit with left hands. Either move to the opposite side of the left hand or either start firing counter right hands. You got to answer you got to find some way the left hand. He throws the left hand, you throw a right hand. We do that all night.
But there were in the middle rounds, say like rounds, say 4 to 5, you could see Huck was trying to actually get his own right hand off, and he's throwing 4 or 5 punch combinations. But even when he was coming forward, he was like a drunk. He he wasn't setting the punches up in a way that he was setting the punches up in a way that was still leaving his chin in the air and leaving himself vulnerable to getting caught. So even when he caught Christoph in the 6th round and dropped him, and I was on Twitter saying it's a matter of time before Huck gets this guy, nailed him, guy goes down, guy gets up, Christoph gets up, and then still nails Huck with a straight left hand.
Yes, and the speed of the punch that dropped Christoph,
yeah,
it wasn't really a fast punch. The punch that Huck dropped Christoph with, that punch wasn't really a fast punch. So I mean, it was. I guess to some it might be fast, but I'm looking at it from a trainer's perspective. I thought the punch was the speed was kind of regular, and I thought that Christoph could have and maybe should have picked that punch off or slipped it or ducked it or blocked it or something, but he got hit with it and went down, and I was kind of shocked by that. But you never can tell what goes on behind the scenes during the preparation for each guy. Sometimes these guys are going through tough weeks. We don't know what happened with the campaign to make the weight. You never can tell.
That was another thing I was a bit concerned with as well, because the way Huck was fighting, he fought like the way he started the fight was like a guy who knew he was struggling at the weight and was like, you know what, I'm not gonna put too much punch out, put too much in the first, say 4 or 5 rounds. I'm gonna kind of conserve it as much as I could. But because that guy was throwing them straight left hands over the top and was aggressive and he was there and he meant business, Christoph meant business, and he stuck to a game plan from round 1. Even when he got dropped, it was up and down. Straight left to the body, straight left to the head, straight left to the head, straight left to the body. Up and down, working Huck, up and down all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and his team, Christoph, nailed it. They seemed to get their stuff together. They seemed to have an idea of what Huck was going to do, and it sort of expected. So even when he went down, he still kept composed. For a guy who'd never been knocked down in his career, as opposed to Huck, that when he got knocked down, he didn't know what to do.
Well, the Polish fighters is a very, very durable fighters. These are tough guys. As is the case with most European fighters, Ireland, Poland, Germany, Russia, Ukraine, Georgia. These guys are rough, tough guys. And they endure punches well. They get up. He got up and brushed it off like as though nothing really happened. I don't know how it's going to work out years from now, a couple of fights from now, but it's tough guys. They're tough guys.
So, with this defeat now, obviously Huck being knocked out, Alexander Usyk is now the number 1 contender for the WBO Cruiserweight Championship of the world. I also noticed one step below that, right behind Usyk, was Tony Bellew, the UK's Tony Bellew.
Yeah.
Now, he's with Matchroom, and they may feel to themselves, well, this guy, Bellew may stand a chance against him. And because Matchroom may have a bit of money power there, they may try and give you guys step-aside money to face Christoph first in a voluntary defence. How does that work? Or do you have the mandatory first?
The things like that take place all of the time. They come up with the money, they pay the guy to step aside. Sure, I'm sure Usyk is a very young fighter. Somebody come up with $100,000, say step aside. Of course, why not take $100,000 and step aside and keep training?
So you would rather step aside than take the chance to become world champion?
But if it comes to a haggle, some kind of political thing inside the organizations, give them the $100,000, step aside, and we fight on the undercard, we guarantee the title shot. Yeah, I'd do that. We'd fight the winner. But as long as we guarantee the fight on that card and the $100,000, why not?
So you'd want to fight. So the idea would be to fight on the same card as if
Yeah, we'd have to fight on the same card. That would have to be part of the package for us to fight on the same card. I don't want to be disrespectful to, like I said, none of the other contenders, but I don't think that anybody in that division right now can beat Alexander Usyk. I think that he's the technically better guy. Like I said, you got big punches out there, but you don't have a lot of boxers out there. Alexander Usyk can punch with both hands, and he can box. And that's the whole idea, to keep him in a format where he's learning how to box. With each fight, he's growing with his boxing skills. Because the cruiserweights are hard punchers. They just come in and they knock each other out left and right. What I'm trying to teach Alexander Usyk is how to box, boxing etiquette, how to utilize his jab and his ring generalship, his footwork, how to get in, do your damage, and get out. Like stealth bombers, Come in, do your work, and move away.
How important do you think this is, these fundamentals are? Because it seems that people are just interested today in seeing guys throw big punches, knock people out, and have unbeaten records. But how important is it to have those fundamentals? And what happens when you're a fighter that doesn't have those fundamentals, in your experience?
Well, when you got a fighter that doesn't have those fundamentals, they're in for a short career. They're in for a very short career because they won't last long like that. You've got to have boxing skills, how to defend and counter off your defense. As the old timers would say, make them miss and make them pay. You understand? If you don't have those different things clicking together during a fight, then you could be in big trouble and your career could be very short.
So how has Marco Huck been able to get away with what he got away? Who's been getting away for 13 defenses?
Marco Huck, you got to understand. Marco Huck is a mentally tough man. Marco Huck is a mentally tough man, and like I said, I believe that weight played a factor in his running out of steam last night. Him making the weight. He's gotten older. I think he's up there 33 or 34 now. And he's made the weight consistently over the years. And that in itself is a small feat because it's very difficult when you get up in age to keep making the 200-pound limit.
Okay. You've traveled the world, so you could help me get better understanding of this and those who are watching the show. But one of the things that I always wanted to know, in my mind I've got an idea, but a fighter like Marco Huck, for example, has made all his defenses have been in Europe. He now decides to come to America to make his title defense, make his American debut. How big of a deal is that American debut? Is because people say a ring is a ring, but I'm sure it's more than just a ring being a ring.
With a guy like Marco Huck, that's a true statement. It's a ring, just a ring.
Right.
It's a ring. It's not going to affect a professional like Marco Huck. He's a well-rounded, seasoned professional, a hardened professional, and an American ring or Chinese ring, it doesn't make a difference. Marco Huck is going to fight the way Marco Huck fights. So I don't think that played a role, him fighting in America. I don't think that played a role.
But there are some fighters that fight brilliantly at home, and when you take them away from home, they're just terrible. Clinton Woods was a perfect example. Clinton Woods at home beat some of the best in the world. Yet you took him away from home and went to America, he looked terrible.
And then you got other fighters where the same thing.
It's opposite.
Yeah, it works just the opposite. You take them home and they fight terrible. You take them away from home and they fight brilliantly.
Yeah.
So it depends on the individual.
But what makes? But how does that happen? What's the mental state with that?
Chemistry. It's just chemistry. It's the chemistry that they have with the environment, they have with the people. It's a lot of things that can mitigating factors that can determine one or the other.
So, okay, you've got a fighter that has been training, like Usyk, for example. He's been training, like, in Ukraine. He's been training Ukraine. But he's had that international experience in the amateur.
He's had the international experience that prepares him for the fight anywhere, anybody, anywhere. And I don't think it would make a difference with him. He likes to fight.
Right. So
He likes to fight. He likes his job.
if you say you take Usyk now and you bring him to America, what sort of training methods would you adjust your training methods to say, what we're in America now, we've got to deal with heat, or we've got to deal with this, or we've got to deal with that, or water, or food, or eat certain food that makes you blow up in weight faster, or what are the parameters?
Well, you know, Lomachenko is his stablemate.
Right.
So Lomachenko, you know, would bring Usyk up. There's just a lot of Ukrainian fighters in America, you know, Connecticut, New York, Florida, Pennsylvania. So, you know, I'm sure that he'd be in contact with those guys, and they'd give him the do's and don'ts of what you should eat, how to eat, and how to prepare. You know, I'm sure that would take place. He would find out a lot of things from Vladimir Klitschko and Vitaly Klitschko and other fighters that's come to America and made those adjustments.
Okay. Carl Frampton recently made his US debut. And within the first round, he was put on he was dropped twice. The excuse or the thing was that they felt the ring was bouncy. How much can we look into something like that?
I don't never mention that to a fighter. I don't mention nothing like that to a fighter. Because once they step in the ring, it's nothing you can do about that. You know?
But you
I
said,
don't want to go...
but a ring is a ring. So, but is a ring? Because some rings...
No, a lot of times, I had Maurice Harris fighting James Thunder one night.
Yeah.
And I went out, and something in my mind said, go check the ring. And I went out and checked the ring. I said, gee, how the ring is this? It looked like it was like a 16 by 16 on the inside of the ropes. On the outside of the ropes, it looked like 18 by 18. But on the inside of the ropes, I felt that it was a 16 and a half by 16 and a half. You know, it was rather small to help James Thunder with the elusive Maurice Harris. And I was really, really upset. And I saw one of the guys that was working the corner. He jumped out the ring and started charging back to the locker room. I said, whoa, where you going? He said, I'm going to go back and tell everybody what's going on. I said, listen, you don't tell nobody nothing. He says, what do you mean? I said, you don't tell nobody nothing. It's not your job to tell anybody nothing. Keep your mouth shut. So Harris, when we came out to the ring, I could see Harris. Harris being the crafty veteran that he was, he looked around. He looked around like the, you know, like a cat. He knew that ring had been tampered with. He knew that it was small, but he had a look on his face like, say, all right, see, they want to play that game, okay? This is the game they want to play? All right, this is how we're going to play it. He got angry about it, but he contained his anger, and he channeled his anger into his punches and got a devastating, beautiful knockout. So good professionals will make the adjustments that they need to make to win the fight. That night, the deck was stacked against Maurice Harris. James Thunder was supposed to win the fight. Everything was done to favor James Thunder, except the fact nobody told Harris about it. Harris knocked him out. Cold, knocked him out very cold. I mean, you could have counted to 1,000, the guy wasn't going to wake up. So it's better sometimes to think alone. Don't get emotional and all that crazy. I'm going to go back and tell him what's going to tell him for what? What difference is it going to make? It's a fight now. They're not going to change this ring size now. The commissioner's not going to change it. Nobody's going to change it. So we need to psychologically get past this here and move on with the fight. That's what good technical trainers do. Technical trainers handle stuff like that did. I realized right away to keep calm and let's go out and win the fight. And that's what we did.
Okay, I'm going to talk about two fights. But before I talk about the two fights, I want to talk about this 49-0 with Floyd Mayweather. It kind of dawned on me that Floyd Mayweather, if you look at, we talked about this before, Chavez being 89-0, Marciano being 49-0, Ricardo Lopez being 55-0. Those three guys are non-blacks. So Floyd Mayweather, if he got to 49-0, would be the first African American or first black fighter to have an unbeaten record of 49-0 to get into the history books, if I'm correct, because Larry Holmes was the closest to that. And Larry Holmes was stopped. Larry Holmes fought Spinks and lost on his way to get into 49-0.
What about Ray Robinson?
I don't know.
When did he lose? When did he lose his first fight?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
We got to do a checkup on that.
Okay, we'll check on that.
I mean, Floyd is he's hanging their hat on undefeated records, but that means nothing to me.
Of course it didn't.
It doesn't. I mean, you're undefeated. That's a good thing. But it doesn't hold water. To me, the education. What did you learn? There's some guys who lost 1 or 2 fights on the way to the championship. Guy like Bernard Hopkins lost his first pro fight. Look what he turned out to be. I'm looking for education behind those losses. If you lose a fight, you're educated because of it, Now they put emphasis on I'm 59-0, I'm 49-0, I'm 39-0. Everybody. I mean, you could have been 39-0, you could have fought 30 schoolgirls. Who knows, So I'm not really big. Really ask about somebody with the old record. I'm old. Where is your education? What have you learned from it?
Okay.
Floyd managed to stay undefeated, He managed to stay undefeated. Even though I thought that Castillo's fight, I thought he lost that fight. I thought the judges did him a favor that night. I thought that he lost that fight. There's no doubt in my mind I thought he lost that fight. And many other people who saw the fight. But the judges saw it his way. All right? The top rank was his promoter at the time, so I think it was some hanky-panky that went on to keep him undefeated. He went back and he beat Castillo, but he lost that fight.
Right.
In my opinion. And anybody goes back and look at that fight now and examine it, they'll see that he lost that fight.
Yeah.
So you can say that he's undefeated all you want.
So what does Berto bring to the ring? What sort of threat is Andre Berto?
I don't think he's much of a I think he's going to fight. I think he's going to fight the best he can, but Berto has been around the track a couple of times. He's been beaten up pretty well. Floyd is going to play games with him. Berto don't have nothing for Floyd Mayweather Jr.
So Berto he'll play games. In what sense? How do you mean he'll play games?
I mean, it's going to be like target practice for Floyd Mayweather Jr. Floyd Mayweather Jr. knew what he was doing when he took Berto. Berto's going to come in. He's going to try the best that he can. But he's been, like I said, he's been around. He's been beaten up bad. Andre Berto has been beaten up bad. I mean, badly. And he's like a recycled fighter now. He's just like Humpty Dumpty. They just put him back together and put him back in there. But Floyd's gonna whoop that behind. And I like Andre Berto. I respect him. I like him. But Floyd's gonna whoop that behind. Floyd's gonna put some sport on him, bro. Floyd Mayweather's gonna put some sport on Andre Berto. Trust me, man. All right, I'm not even excited about it. I won't spend 10 cents on that fight. All right, they got me good on the Pacquiao fight.
You're not getting me again, though.
They won't get me again. Not with the Berto fight.
But look at Sugar Shea Mosley. People said Sugar Shea Mosley didn't stand a chance, but in that second round he landed. If Berto were to land on Floyd like that,
Berto's not powerful like Mosley.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm. No. Berto ain't got that Mosley power.
Well, Gennady Golovkin. David Lemieux, the fight I've been calling for. What do you think?
That's a good fight. That's a very good fight. Lemieux stands a good chance to win that fight.
I think he does as well.
If he can stand up to that early artillery, let's put it like this here. If he gets past 5 rounds in that fight, he stands a good chance to win the fight.
Why? I would have thought he would be. I thought he would try and win the fight within the first 5.
If he gets past the first 5 rounds, it's going to be dangerous. Those first 5 rounds are going to be dangerous. With Triple G, it's going to be dangerous. If he survives those first 5 rounds, you look for some fireworks.
But I'm looking at it as the fact that Triple G is now fighting a guy who, for the first fight, he's fighting a guy that's got the mental, I'm going to get you, I'm going to knock you out. And he that's how he fights. That's all he knows what to do. He's the only thing remotely close to a knockout puncher that really will throw knockout punches.
Well, I think he better alter his plans and try to box a little bit, because he can run into some serious firepower if he tries to go in there and blow Triple G out of here. Not a wise thing to do. Triple G lives for the punch, he lives to punch. That's an explosive fight. Somebody can get caught in that fight in the first couple of rounds and go out. It's a dangerous fight.
How would you?
But I wouldn't suggest for anybody to jump right on Triple G thinking they can walk right through him.
How would you suggest, if you were training Lemieux today, how would you say is best to fight Triple G with Lemieux's punch power?
I tell them first and foremost is to use a good, consistent jab. The first and foremost thing, to use a good, consistent jab. Some hard, some medium, but use the jab. Circle him left to right, lateral movement all of the time. It seems to me that Triple G doesn't deal with people who uses lateral movement and a good jab. He seems to have some kind of complications with that, some kind of annoyance to annoy him some. Not erratic pace, but a moderate pace where the fighter is in control of his movement and he's pumping a good jab. Everything's pumping off the jab, right to left, left to right, not staying in front of him and not laying against the ropes. Because if you notice that most of the time when the guy goes near the ropes or at the ropes, he's in a danger zone with Triple G.
Absolutely.
But if you keep the boxing in the center of the ring and control with a good jab, even when the Triple G jab, then the opponent should come back and double jab.
Right.
He stands a good chance of winning that fight. Because of Lemieux's punching power, he can swell Triple G up. He can swell him up. And if that happens, it's going to make the road much smoother if he can bust him up.
Okay. What would you say to Triple G? How would you, if you train Triple G to beat Lemieux, what would you say to him?
Cut the ring off and bomb with him. Cut the ring off and bomb with him right from the opening bell. Cut the ring, make the ring short, and bomb with him. Engage him. Try to start a fight right away.
Damn.
Yeah. To make him use his artillery, whatever he's got in his artillery box, get him to use it. Don't let him save nothing. Make him use it in the first 2-3 rounds.
But isn't it dangerous going for a puncher straight away?
Yeah. It's the same thing if you wait around for him. Because the more confidence a puncher gets, the more dangerous he's going to be.
Fair enough. And if you're gonna
I
go for
would right away, whatever he has in that tank, that's what's there. When you're putting a lot of pressure on a boxer that can punch, believe me, you're gonna force him to do things that he does not want to do, that he's uncomfortable on. So yeah, let's step to him now, find out what he has, and get him to use it.
okay.
If Triple G forces the action early, he can wear him out in 5 rounds. It's a big event for Lemieux. That's what I'm concerned about. It's a really, really, really big event. One that he might not be quite accustomed to, even though up in Canada he's had some big events up there, but not like this one. Triple G is better suited for this here kind of atmosphere than Lemieux is. So I'd tell him to force his hand. I wouldn't try to box with him. I wouldn't let him get comfortable.
Okay. Cotto, Canelo.
Who cares?
I'm glad somebody said it.
You got an old little guy fighting a relatively strong young guy, new guy, a guy that's been a junior middleweight his whole career. Cotto is moving up from 140 pounds to 47. Now he's at 54. You understand? I just don't put too much. They talk about Cotto's a better boxer. He's this, he's that. He's old. That's not going to change. I don't care what you do. You invent all you want. You got a really young guy and you got a really old guy. And Cotto, in terms of boxing, he's really old. He's been through the ringer. I mean, you know, he's been in there with some tough guys. I mean, he's been in there with Mayweather. You understand? Pacquiao.
Margarito, Mosley.
Been in there with Margarito twice. Mosley, the right-handed, the left-handed kid that beat him. The junior middleweight kid was the champion.
Trout.
Yes. I mean, he's been in some tough fights. You can't keep going to the well and come up with some fresh water. Cotto is an old guy. In terms of boxing, he's really old. So I don't expect, if he beats this kid, Canelo, if he beats him, it'll be news to me, but I don't think he's going to beat that kid. That kid is too young, too fresh, too strong. He's too everything. You know? Cotto's been around a long time, and I got a lot of respect and love for him. I just hate to see that he's fighting this kid. You know, this kid could really hurt him.
Well, there's I think the whole thing they were waiting for so long was because they wanted a rematch clause.
Yeah. Like I said, you got a little old guy fighting a big young guy. Canelo all day.
Oh dear. Okay,
Canelo.
if you were training Cotto, what do you do then?
What would I do?
Yeah.
I'd take him in the gym and I'd work on stamina and movement.
Right.
How to survive, how to slip, slide, and stay to the side, you know, to avoid those bombs that this young man has. You understand? You don't want to get into no punching match with this kid. It's a big young kid. When that kid step in the ring tonight, he's probably going to be 165 pounds. You know, it's a big, young, strong kid. So I'd work on boxing skills and movement, how to steal punches and not get caught with punches. You know, it's going to be critical that he stays away from those big shots.
I assume you'll
Canelo, of course, is going to...
You'll tell Canelo to jump on Cotto from round 1.
Yeah. Jump on him from round 1. You understand? You know, jump on him from round 1. Make those old legs tight. You can't reinvent his legs.
No, you can't.
Jump on him from round 1. Try to take the fight inside round 1. Wear him out. Make him do things that he does not want to do. He's still an old guy. And all those fights that he has makes him even older. I love Miguel Cotto. I'm a Miguel Cotto fan to the end. But he can't beat this young man. He can't beat this young man. He's in trouble. He can't beat this young man. He's in trouble.
Oh dear.
And I don't see him outboxing this kid. People say that Canelo is going to take him to school. I don't think so. Floyd took him to school, and I believe that he got a real reservoir of education from Floyd. Canelo's going to be in a tough fight. And like I said, I'm sorry to see him taking this fight.
Okay, and to close, the fight I know you really want to see next year, Manny Pacquiao versus Mayweather 2.
Who want to see that fight next year?
Well, supposedly Pacquiao is back. He had Epsom salts, so his shoulder has been healed now, so he's ready for next year. And Steven Espinoza says if Mayweather gets to 49 and beats Berto, 50th fight should be Pacquiao versus Mayweather 2. That's what they want to make.
I don't care. I don't care. They stumped the house out that first fight, so I don't care. They never fight again. The fight was long past due when they fought the first time.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about the fight next year again? Nah, I don't want to see it.
What happens if they fought again?
Huh?
What happens if they fight again?
You can inbox me the next morning about what happened. I'll be asleep. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not gonna stay. I'm not gonna stay up that late again. Stay up. You know, I had to drive. I had to get in my car and drive home. I had to drive all the. You know, I went to friends to watch it with friends. I had to drive home. I was so mad at myself. I had to pull off in the gas station on the highway and go to sleep. You know, I should have had my behind in the bed.
Oh,
you know, old ass man driving around the street wee hours in the morning. You know, like I'm some kind of young boy flipping around in the middle of the night watching fights and stuff. Like I'm 20 years old now. Ah, man, that was a drag. I said, boy, I pull up. I was getting sleepy driving home. And my mom said, look, best thing to do now is to pull off at a rest stop, get yourself an iced tea, and go to sleep, and then wake up fresh. So I pull off the road, let the seat back. You know, my windows was tinted. Let the seat back, down the iced tea, slept for 2 hours and drove on home safely. That won't happen again. You could just inbox me the next morning. I'll just look over at my phone and you tell me what happened. I'm not doing that again. I don't care. Mayweather, Pacquiao. They ripped me off the first time. I started to drive my car through the cable company window the next morning. Whole car just sailing right off the highway, right through the window.
Oh,
early in the morning, as soon as they open, just crash right through the window. And climb out my car window and say, I want my money back.
I don't think there's anybody that's had anything good to say about that fight. Nobody.
Oh, man. Oh, please. Oh, please. How can you even say that here's a welterweight fighter that can go alongside of the two fights that Ray Leonard fought Tommy Hearns in it? How can anybody even suggest that? Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns fought 8 years apart. In each one of those fights, those guys came and spilled their guts in that ring to impress, to be champions. I mean, they worked hard. The first 5 rounds of either one of those fights was like, whoop. You couldn't get the 12 rounds they did to equal one of the rounds that Tommy Hearns and Ray Leonard did. And you know, you the best ever. You're the best ever. Come on, man. Come on now. I saw just recently where he said he ranked Muhammad Ali number 5.
Yeah, he did. What did you think?
Ranked Muhammad Ali number 5 on all of this. Ali was just loved because of his political and social stance. Floyd, let me say this to you, Huck and Eoram somewhere. Muhammad Ali fought Kenny Norton 3 times in his career. Muhammad Ali fought Joe Frazier 3 times in a career. Muhammad Ali fought Leon Spinks twice. Muhammad Ali fought Henry Cooper twice. Carl Mildenberger, Brian London, Jorgen Blinn, Joe Bugner.
Ernie Shavers.
Ernie Shavers. He came out of retirement. He came out of a 4-year exile. It was 3 years and 8 months he was in exile illegally. And when he came out of exile, he fought Jerry Quarry, who I believe was the number 2 or number 1 contender. Right after that there, he fought Oscar Bonavena, who was also the number 7 contender. And then he went right on to Joe Frazier. Who does that? Who fights that kind of competition coming back? Can you imagine a heavyweight today fighting that kind of competition coming out of a 3-4 year exile? He fought Jerry Quarry, Oscar Bonavena, and then fought Joe Frazier right to the championship. Who does that? And you said you rank him number 5? Muhammad Ali was defending the world championship all over the world, not in Las Vegas, Floyd. He defended Ali from the title in Germany, London, Britain, all over the place. Because he was the world champion. Muhammad Ali came out of retirement to fight the unbeatable George Foreman. Who does that, Floyd? How could you rank him number 5? Your accolades can't even come close to what Muhammad Ali did. Your accolades can't even come close to what Ray Robinson did. Undefeated does not make you the best ever. It doesn't make you.
He said, I beat 22 world champions.
He beat 22 world champions.
That's what he says.
Modern day world champions. But Muhammad Ali and them was beating world champions back then. Let's say Ali was world champions from the 80s back.
But he says Ken Norton beat him twice anyway, as far as he's concerned.
So if he did, the fact of the matter is Muhammad Ali fought him 3 times. So if he did beat him, the judges said Ali won. You understand? As far as he's concerned. But even if Ken Norton beat him, the fact of the matter is that Ali had the cojones to fight him. To take the fight. Muhammad Ali and Ray Robinson was going to Europe like it was around the corner.
Ray Robinson wasn't even in his top 5.
This guy is hallucinating, man.
But he had Roberto Duran as number 2 in the world.
Huh?
He had Roberto Duran as under him. After him was Roberto Duran.
After Floyd?
Yeah, was Roberto Duran.
This guy's hallucinating.
And then after, I think he had Pernell Whitaker.
This guy's hallucinating.
Yeah, I think it was himself, Duran, Whitaker, Chavez, and then Ali at the end.
This guy's hallucinating. You know, money doesn't give you a pass to be stupid. You understand? You think because you got money that you could just blurt out stupid shit like that there and people going to accept it? Boxing historians, boxing fans will say the same thing I'm saying, that you sound like you're stupid. You know, you sound like the shit that Nancy Reagan was telling people not to do. Just say no to drugs, Floyd. Because you sound stupid talking that shit.
Maybe he needs his uncle coming up to say, you don't know shit about boxing.
Yeah. Maybe his uncle should tell him that you don't know shit about boxing. That's some drunk shit that he said. That's some drunk shit he's saying. Drunk shit.
Absolutely.
You know, just drunk shit.
I was looking at the board. I'm looking at Sugar Ray Leonard there. I'm looking at Sugar Ray Robinson there. And I'm thinking, wait. How?
the guy is hallucinating, man.
But he thinks Roberto Duran is after him. Roberto Duran's the best ever. But didn't
Duran's a very good fighter.
Duran got smashed by Tommy Ernst, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he talked about the second. I said, yeah, but he made the first fight of Ray Leonard. He beat Ray Leonard. I said, well, what about the second fight? Ray Leonard made him quit. I said, no, we don't talk about the second fight. We talk about the first fight. He beat Ray Leonard.
Yeah, he beat Ray Leonard because Ray was trying to prove something. But when Ray came out with his boxing skills, he shut him down. He simply shut him down. You know, it was no contest. He just simply shut him down. You know, this guy, just he's like hallucinating. It's like he's on drugs or something. I don't know what he's talking about. Wait a minute, let me get something out of here. You know, he just, you can't tell him nothing in the thing. And he said behind him, Roberto Duran. You didn't say nothing about Henry Armstrong, Benny Leonard. It's so many good fighters that he's totally missing. I mean, it's better to don't say nothing at all. Let people think that you're stupid until you start talking and make yourself really. People say, yeah, he is stupid.
I lost a lot of respect for Floyd after that. There was no need to do that. There really was no need. And to evaluate, put yourself as number one. I mean, marketing wise, great. He probably is number one. In terms of record sales, yeah, he is number one. In terms of TV deal, number one. If highest paid fighter, number one. But that's where the number one comes to an end.
Exactly. Nothing that you can.
But answer your question, all those guys that he just mentioned, if all those guys were fighting in this era today, Ali himself, what's his name? Duran, Chavez.
Duran run Floyd out of a ring.
What's that?
Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
Would run Floyd Mayweather out of the ring.
You're joking.
He would run him out of the ring, literally. You know? Literally. Because Duran wouldn't lay back boxing with him. Duran would just came in and took over. When he put Duran second behind him, no, Floyd. Sorry. No.
Sugar Ray Robinson, Floyd Mayweather at welterweight.
They said that was the best Ray Robinson.
Yeah, well, a welterweight.
They said that was the best Ray Robinson. Wasn't much footage on it, but they said that was the best of Ray Robinson.
He's my favourite fighter. I love Ray. He could fight going forward, he could fight going backward, he could fight side to side, he could box, he could slug, he could do everything. Great chin, great footwork, great everything.
Chin. Yeah. Great chin, great footwork.
Do you know the thing best about him I love the most? Is where he could throw punches going backwards. He can knock you out going backwards. That's amazing.
I don't know. My blood pressure goes up. When people start talking about Floyd Mayweather, my freaking blood pressure goes up. Because he acts like because you got money, that gives you a pass to be stupid. All right? That gives you a pass. But he don't understand that there are other people outside of his circle that are not kissing up to him, that's not mooching up to him to get some money or get some favor or something from him. Other people ain't mooching. People don't want to hear that nonsense. You rank Muhammad Ali number 5. Then Henry Cooper and Ali fought twice. Where? In London?
Yeah, in London, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. Did Floyd ever fight in London?
No.
Did Floyd? Where has he fought? Has he fought? You understand what I'm saying?
Outside of Vegas.
So you got Blinn. You got Cooper. Brian London. I guarantee you, look on the record sheet, and how many fights did Ali fight in Europe back then in black and white days? You know, in black and white days, how many people who did that? You know, nobody. I mean, it's not. Nobody could do it. You know, so I don't put much stock in that.
It's interesting because it's good.
Yeah.
It's good to hear people like yourself talk about it, because you're a guy, you're a boxing trainer, but not only that, you're a historian in the sport, and you have some sort of history to trace back the great fighters. So then when Floyd's talking his nonsense, Muhammad number 5
Muhammad Ali was one of those guys that take a saw and cut the branch and jump on the proper side of the branch before the other branch fell. In other words, he dared. He lived by the dare. And this guy talking about he's number 5? Are you serious? I mean, who do you know that would fight Joe Frazier and Ken Norton 3 times apiece? Not 3 times, but 3 times apiece in a career. Who would take that chance other than Muhammad Ali? Who would take that chance to fight 3 of them? He fought Kenny 3 and fought Joe 3 times in a career. That's amazing. That's an amazing record. When you look on the record, see their name 3 times apiece. You can't find no heavyweight to do that now. No. You're not going to find heavyweights to do that. You're not going to find heavyweights to take those kind of fights. 3 times in a
Floyd
career.
Mayweather or Henry Armstrong?
I think Floyd best is Henry Armstrong. I think Floyd would win a decision over Henry Armstrong. Just too small. But it damn sure wouldn't be easy.
Chavez Jr.? Chavez Sr., sorry.
I think Floyd decisions Chavez.
Prime Chavez?
Depends on where he fights in that.
A welterweight?
No, he beats him at welterweight.
He beats him at welterweight?
Yeah, he beats him at welterweight. Lightweight, junior welterweight, different story, but at welterweight, Floyd beats him.
At lightweight?
Lightweight could be a whole different ball game.
What happens?
It's hard to say, but Chavez was a beast at lightweight. Chavez was a beast lightweight.
Okay, Chavez Duran, finally. Chavez Duran, who wins?
Duran knocks Chavez out. Mosquitoes.
Oh.
Mosquitoes. Got mosquitoes in him.
We'll have to nickname you Uncle Miyagi Bashir next. What do you think?
Gotta kill these mosquitoes, bro.
Yeah.
We can't exist together. The mosquito and I can't. We can't exist together.
One has to go.
Yeah, I got something for him though. This is called the magic door paper.
What does it do?
You set it off. It sends a fume throughout the room.
Yeah.
You light it. Light this here.
Yeah. And it kills Mr. Mosquito.
Yeah. It's Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi. Uncle
Yeah.
Bashir, thank you so much once again for talking to Bayloric TV. We really appreciate your wisdom and the amount of people out there that comment on your views and love to hear what you've got to say. They love to hear from
Oh man,
your
I love the
experience.
people, man. I always want to be a contributor, and I want to make sense when I'm saying something. I don't say something. So when I don't stop making sense, just stop me right where I'm at. Say it doesn't make sense. I want to make sense. I want to contribute to the sport of boxing, and I want to contribute in a way where people can be progressive, where people can learn. That's why I think that the trainers in boxing need to be a little more responsible about the things they say and do, because there are fans watching who want to be educated about what they're talking about, about what they're seeing, and then you got a bunch of people in boxing that don't know what they're talking about. Like Floyd Jr., Muhammad Ali #5. Floyd, having money is not an excuse to be stupid. Stop talking like that. Good night.